Everybody's sun is beginning to shine across parts of the bluegrass area. It's been out for a while into western Kentucky. That is allowing the atmosphere to recover very, very well. Unfortunately, we're still in severe weather mode, even after all of today's severe thunderstorms. Live view of 4 different sky cams. Clouds are lingering, he says, into parts of Moorhead, but we've got the sun into Frankfort, into Georgetown and Lexington, and points west from there. No watches yet across central and eastern Kentucky. No new watches. That's going to change, though. Tornado watch, PDS tornado watch, particularly dangerous situation. St. Louis, Springfield, Paducah, Murray State University included in this as well. Warnings, none across central or eastern Kentucky, really the entire state outside of flash flood warnings into the west. But at one point today, I think just about every county in Kentucky into the central and eastern parts of the state were under some kind of a warning. And what was a major wind event, damaging wind event unfolding across the region earlier. What is left of all that? Just a leftover shower, maybe a rumble of thunder into southeastern Kentucky. It's all she wrote. Let's head back to the west, though. Starting now to see some thunderstorms going up north of Paducah. Got to keep an eye on those. Again, atmosphere is primed western Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana for more storms. Look at the tornado warnings coming out of Missouri. These are supercell thunderstorms, especially on the southern edge of this, where you've got the red polygons. Those are tornado warnings. Tornado warning into St. Louis as of now. The yellow showing the severe thunderstorm warnings. That whole mess is rolling toward the east, and we're going to have to contend with that a little later on tonight. Storm Prediction Center still with that enhanced risk of severe weather into much of the region. Western Kentucky, they upgraded that this afternoon to a moderate risk for severe thunderstorms. So with what is to come, still to come, not including today's action, but still to come, damaging winds, large hail, a few tornadoes, a possibility. Stop me if you've heard that one before. That is essentially a repeat view of the threats from what we had earlier to what we're going to be seeing late this evening into the wee hours of the morning. Now, problem being, severe weather coming at night can obviously cause more anxiety for a lot of folks. It is a bad time of the day. There's no good time. There's a worse time, and that's the overnight for severe weather. Hour by hour future radar, 8 through 10 o'clock. Notice all the thunderstorms to the west that are dropping their way on in. By midnight, 1 o'clock, now we're starting to see those thunderstorms making their way across central Kentucky through 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. This stuff is now rolling into eastern Kentucky and then out of the state around 5. Clean skies showing up behind that with a partly to mostly sunny Memorial Day that'll take shape. Here's a little different computer model that we're looking at from this evening. It's a faster model in terms of getting this stuff in here. So 10:30, 11, and by the time we get into 11:30, midnight, 12:30, you see those thunderstorms that are in central Kentucky making their way to the east. That would be the damaging wind threat, embedded tornado, a possibility. Boy, that future radar looks a lot like the past radar that we had earlier in the day. So this is an event that for many of us is going to arrive well after sunset. So until then, you know what? You got a few hours to get out and enjoy your Sunday evening here on this Memorial Day holiday weekend. A storm or two around tomorrow. You get a lot of dry times on your Monday. 75 to 80, cooler trend for the middle and end of next week. Parts of central and western Kentucky. Now it's weakening, and it will continue to slowly weaken as we go through the rest of the weekend, but it is more of a rainmaker as opposed to a damaging wind maker like what we had today. Peak wind gust in Lexington around noon, give or take a little bit, was 65 miles per hour. Folks, I've been doing this for a little while, as you guys know. Over the past 3 or 4 years, we have had more high wind events than I can remember having in the prior 30 or 40 years combined. The atmosphere has just been supercharged with significant wind events of late across the Commonwealth, and it seems like Lexington always comes in with the highest wind gusts. Now today's record rainfall, we're at 2.26 inches of rain so far out at Bluegrass Airport. Parts of central Kentucky have had closer to 3 and 4 inches on the day. That's the most rain we've had in Lexington for this specific date, September 27th. Look at all the severe weather reports from the day. Those are wind damage reports. We've had some flooding reports thrown in there from time to time into northeastern Kentucky and into parts of western Kentucky, but the winds, without question, were the big show of the day, and they were packing that punch. Now, the winds right now are calming down across central Kentucky. What is left of our system is spinning between Owensboro and Madisonville here into western Kentucky. You can see 24 hours ago, what was the eye of a Category 4 hurricane that we were tracking right here coming ashore in Florida, that same center of circulation is spinning across western Kentucky. That made its way into southern Kentucky around 1 o'clock this afternoon. It made up 500 miles in about a 13-hour window from the Gulf of Mexico to Kentucky. And now it gets to Kentucky and it says, I'm just out of energy. I don't want to move anymore. So it's going to hang around, giving us the threat for some additional tropical rains that will spin and some pockets of 1 to 3 inch rains, a good bet across parts of the Bluegrass region into northern and western Kentucky, where you've got that flood watch that is continuing in effect. First Alert Radar Network, the rains are coming back at us. They went to the west of us. Now they're starting to inch back in. Seeing those showers that are developing here in Madison County, parts of Clark County, and farther to the southwest, you get into Danville and Stanford. That's where the rains are coming down at a greater clip. Farther to the west, we've had rain nonstop. So far on the day, you're talking about 4 to 5 inch rain amounts showing up from E-Town back into western Kentucky. Well, Helene rolling across Kentucky today, every bit as bad as expected, unfortunately. Hi, everybody. Hope you're staying safe out there. Hope you're enjoying your Friday evening. I know a lot of folks across the region, across Kentucky, I think still a little better than 160,000 customers in central and eastern Kentucky are without power tonight, and it may be several days before that power gets restored, unfortunately. What we're looking at is a dry sky cam. That's at least positive. It's not going to stay that way. Another positive, the winds are calming down. Center of circulation with what is left of Helene spinning into western Kentucky. Look at the winds. The track on this, by the way, went from northern Tennessee back through the Lake Cumberland area and toward E-Town. So the worst of the winds on that right side of the track of the low. And that hour-by-hour wind gust forecast that we've been showing over the past couple of days that had those gusts greater than 60 miles an hour, it verified. It did a really good job in showing where the high winds would come out of southwestern Virginia and through southeastern Kentucky and then across the Bluegrass region into northern Kentucky and southern parts of Ohio and southern Indiana. And there you see the storm reports on the day. Flood watch continues from the Lexington area west. Radar picking up on the increase in rains right now. And the computer models are spitting out some 1 and 2+ inch rain amounts still tonight, tomorrow, into early on Sunday for parts of the Lexington metro. I like what the GFS is doing here because it kind of matches up with where this low is going to head toward Bowling Green and would be on that northeastern side where you may get a little calm ahead of some rain that just keeps moving over the same area. So we're going to watch from the Louisville metro to the Lexington metro coming up late tonight through tomorrow for some heavier downpours. You can see what I'm talking about here on your First Alert Radar Network. So what's happening right now is your system is traveling a little farther west and then it curls right back around and heads to the east. Rain starting to pick up the pace again into central Kentucky, likely hearing some drops on the old rooftop here into Clark County. Hello, Winchester. For folks who have power and are watching us, hello, Winchester. I know a lot of folks, Mother Nature dropped the hammer on us earlier in the day. Danville, Harrodsburg, Stanford, back into Lebanon, Marion County, rains are there. Somerset, Lake Cumberland, steady rains. You're going to hear that rain on the rooftop into much of the Bluegrass region coming up a little later on tonight. Heavy amounts of rain now western Kentucky. That back edge of the system can only get so far west before it turns right back to the east slowly but surely. You see a lot of rain going into parts of the deep south here as well. Look at this extended hour-by-hour forecast. So this line, this clothesline here, would represent essentially the low pressure. The green showing where the rains are. The darker the green, the heavier the rain. Watch that low into western Kentucky. It spins. It doesn't move very much at all. It weakens some, but it is still out there. And those spiraling bands of showers continue to show up tomorrow into Sunday evening at 8 o'clock. Surely by Monday, this thing is moving on out. Well, it's not fully moving out, but it is weakening somewhat, so it doesn't quite have the ability to produce as much heavy rain, but some scattered showers are there. Surely by Tuesday, we're done with it. A couple of wayward showers, leftover tropical moisture, even though that system has pretty much dissolved, can still fire up a shower or two on Tuesday from this same system. Get a cold front in on Wednesday. Let's dry it out. Let's cool it down. October, do your thing on us later next week.